Almighty Father, Papa, now you love me so, and you know my name. I give you glory, Abba Father. You know me, you know my name. Abba Father, you know me, you know my name. Abba Father, you know me, you know my name. You know my name, oh Daddy. You know me, you know my name. I can see your hand in my life. Lord, I see your love upon me. Every time I look around, now you are the see. Every time I turn around, now you are the view. I dey hear your voice in my heart. Lord, I feel your love over me. Every time I look around, now you are the see. Every time I turn around, now you are the below. Abba Father, you know my name. Papa, you know me. Yelele, 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 yelele. Yelele, yelele.
Thank you very much, Reverend Sama, for coming again to the studios. It is exactly 3 minutes after the hour of 5 p.m. in Ambazonia, in Boya particularly. And today is Friday, the 24th of June, 2022. And I'm coming to you today with our Amba history. Our Amba history comes up Monday to Fridays, 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. Amba time during these days. And I want to send very special salute to all the defense team that are actually in actuality standing for us going to Boya. And I want to send also salute to those that are being deceived, to let you know that when you try to sell the Ambazonian people because of money, you will go like Judas Iscariot. Don't say that nobody told you, and don't say that you were not warned. Be satisfied with what you have from the interim government and work with the interim government. And when the time comes for you to eat, you will eat very well. And you eat the fattest and the juiciest frog. All right, with that said, I want to recognize the President of the Federal Republic of Ambazonia, Reverend Dr. Samuel Sakoe Kome, and recognize his team, all the institutions of the Federal Republic of Ambazonia, in particular the House of Reps, with the chair lady for the House of Reps, Honorable Winifred. I recognize you. I want to recognize the Judicial Chair, Barrister Tim, and I want to recognize the, or is it Barrister Tim or Ghana? Well, I don't know. And I want to recognize the Ethics Commission, Chair Lady, Dorothy Ngwa. And I want to recognize the DCAP, Dr. Kang Kenjan, and of course, from the top, I recognize the Vice President, Mr. Ate, my personal person. I greet you, sir. COS, Chief of Staff in the interim government, Dr. Yaya Fonfe. I greet you. I want to greet Dr. Mungwa, the Executive Secretary of State for Communications in the interim government of the Federal Republic of Ambazonia, the one and only Secretary of State for Communications, Dr. Mungwa. I greet you. Time will fail me. I want to greet the personal advisors, chairperson to the President of the Federal Republic of Ambazonia, Professor Ayim, and my regards to all the chairs of the 13 counties who have stood faithfully and who are fighting for our going to Boya. And I want to greet the coup plotters and tell them they are running a battle that has been run before, and so we are not going to fall choco to what they are doing. And I plead with them to come back to their house so that we can build together. Why? Because Abba Father, he knows Ambazonia. Listen to this.
Jesus, your love, now oh, my master, your kindness, now wonder oh. Every time I look around, now you are the sea. Every time I turn around, now you are the field. Jesus, you say I be a picking, no. Jesus, you say your love go cover me. Every time I look around, now you are the sea. Every time I look around, now you are the pillow. Abba Father, you know me, you know my name. Abba Father, yeah, you know me, you know my name. Papa, you know my name, oh. Abba Father, hey. You know me, you know my name.
Thank you very much, Reverend. After knowing that Abba Father knows your name, we cross over to our sister to remind us that as he knows your name, there is something you need to do. And that thing you need to do is to remember that the Father knows your name. When you remember that the Father knows your name, it will make the equation to be balanced. Please, if you have tuned in and you're watching, today is going to be very, very fantastic. I will plead with you to share the link so that many Ambazonians can come into the house and watch it live. We don't want that they will be seeing this after. So if you can call or share the link immediately, that will go a long way to help a number of people to be acquainted with our acquainted with our history. Today, I'm going to continue with what I started telling you yesterday, that after 10 years of the death of Dr. E.M.N. Indele, one of his closest associates, N.N. Bile, who was in that political spree with him, came up to write a legacy and some of the things that he did, and above all, that which is very, very important, and I really want every one of us to know and to look into it, is the 10 predictions that he gave concerning our joining La République du Cameroon after he had fought unsuccessfully to persuade the Southern Cameroonians at that time not to join with La République du Cameroon. And of course, he was advocating that a better option was to go with Nigeria. But unfortunately, he was not heard. And today, we are suffering the repercussion. And I want to crave your indulgence to listen and to listen very, very well so that you can tell the story. All right. Now, listen to When I Remember. Then before we come back, to the 10 prophetic utterances of Dr. E.M.N. Endele. But then, when I
Hallelujah.
Thank you very much, sister, for reminding us to remember the goodness of the Lord, and we will definitely remember. Please, I would crave your indulgence to share this link, share it, so that people can know a bit of their history, and that will now propel them to get up and walk the way they're supposed to walk. You'll get up and be very angry with the system of La Republic, because sometimes some things are done when you are very angry. That will help you to carry out your activities very well. Yeah, yesterday I told you that 37 years, 34 years have gone by since Dr. E.M.N. Endele passed on, the first premier of this British Southern Cameroons, on June 29, 1988. And he left a big legacy behind. And some of the things that we have been quarreling with, like is done today. Dr. E.M.N. Endele was a gentleman and was behaving like an average gentleman in Ambazonia today. And he had a foresight and saw the future, but he was not given the opportunity to carry on the future because there were forces, and above all, there was La Republic that had infiltrated the Ambazonian people, though living in Ambazonia, but he still has its roots in his village of Nchang, and that was Foncha. So many things happened, and so today we are looking at the prophecies of Dr. E.M.N. Endele, 10 reasons why Southern Cameroons should not join La Republic du Cameroon, which he wrote down. He told them, point number 1, if we join Nigeria, we shall be a self-governing region like the other 3 regions in the Federation of Nigeria. We shall be equal to any of the 3 regions before the law of the land, and we shall be entitled to send the same number of senators to Lagos like any of the 3 regions of Nigeria. In other words, Southern Cameroons shall maintain its territorial identity within the Federation of Nigeria. This was the option that the UN gave the Southern Cameroons to make a choice. And Ndele was persuading them, saying that Nigeria has the same background with the Amazonian people, and no matter the maltreatment that the people had suffered in the hands of some certain unscrupulous Igbo people, they should not give up. So he tried to persuade them, just like the two spies who persuaded the Israelites to go up immediately and take the land. And of course, the 10 majority prevailed and they suffered the consequences. So La République du Cameroon, through Foncha, deceived us into joining La République du Cameroon, and we got the terrible story we are having today. Cameroon Republic does not make the same provision for joining her. There is no Southern Cameroons if we go to Yaoundé. There is no Senate there, and in fact, no valid federal constitution between Southern Cameroons and Cameroon Republic has been drawn up. This was in 1958 that Endele was saying all these things. Please, let's not join La République du Cameroon. Point number 2, why we should not join La République du Cameroon. If we join Nigeria, our House of Chiefs in the Southern Cameroons will not be abolished. It will remain and become even stronger than it is now. But if you vote for Cameroon Republic, you will endanger the interest of our chiefs, because there is no House of Chiefs in Cameroon Republic. And Mr. Ahijo has made it clear to Mr. Foncha that he does not intend to create a House of Chiefs. Can you imagine? This was very clear. Now, today we are seeing it as a prophecy that has been fulfilled. But this man stood and said, no, we should not for any reason join La République du Cameroon. Joining La République du Cameroon is like committing suicide. But Foncha, who was from there, deceived the people of the Southern Cameroons. Point number 3, Southern Cameroons at present has the same stem of land ownership as in Nigeria, where there are no European settlers. In the Cameroon Republic, the laws permit Europeans to become settlers, because actually La République Cameroon had not yet received any independence till tomorrow. That's why French settlers were there, and they acquired land. And to acquire large areas of land for their plantations, leaving little or nothing for the natives. Is that not why the people of Atlantic Zone, Fako particularly, are crying, oh, our lands have been sold? And then they are pointing fingers to the wrong persons. In fact, even little children know that our battle is with La République du Cameroon. And that La République du Cameroon is the people that is oppressing us. Yes, they are the ones that are oppressing us, and not the divide and rule system that La République deceived the people to believe that Southwest and Northwest could be at war. Yeah, it is a ploy. It's a game that La République played. And when they played that game, many Ambazonians and many people from the southern zone, as we used to call it, but actually people from the Fako county, they started seeing us as enemies, which is the major plan of La République du Cameroon. And when that happens, we find ourselves quarreling and fighting for nothing. Yes, for nothing. Because La République has made it in such a way that our people will see us and think that we are the enemies, which we are not. Okay, I lost that friend of mine, a small young man who was to talk to us and tell us how the military is killing our people. Yeah, the military is killing our people, and then La République is pretentiously bribing some of our people are making them to come in and behave as if they are working with us. And that's why they tell a lot of stories. But then we thank God that Dr. Endele had predicted, no, we are now crying our lands. But he said in 1958, if we vote for union with Nigeria, we shall continue to enjoy the excellent land tenure which protects the natives from becoming tenants on the farms of white settlers. We shall preserve our land for our own farms, and we shall be free to plant our own cocoa, bananas, or coffee. If you vote for Cameroon Republic, your little farmland will be at the mercy of the white Frenchmen. These Frenchmen are reliably understood to be planning to take over the CDC plantations in Victoria and Komba divisions and to stop the native banana trade. Can you imagine? Just like Dr. Sako is shouting today and say, please, we are not going to continue with these savages, with these terrible people. We must not allow them to take over our land again. But what is going on? Point number 4. Everyone in Southern Cameroon is familiar with the money we spend. At that time, it is Nigerian money. It is steady and strong. But anyone who has been to Cameroon Republic will agree that the French money is very unsteady. Today, you can change UI, that's the name of the money we used at that time, UI, for $1,000. Tomorrow, UI can fetch you only $600 and so on in La République du Cameroon. If we vote for the union with Nigeria, we shall continue to enjoy their strong and steady money in our trade. But if you vote for Cameroon Republic, you shall be inviting their unsteady money, and you will at once notice that your bananas, your cocoa, and your coffee will fetch you less than if it was bought with Nigeria money. This is very clear. There was a time that a dollar was at 275 francs. It went up to 350 and we're shouting inflation. But guess what it is today? It's 622 francs point. Almost 623 francs per dollar. Can you imagine that? All right, number 5. Nearly everyone in Southern Cameroon has heard of the word freedom. And this is where we are really crying and dying. Our association with Nigeria for nearly half a century has made us realize what it means to move about freely, to speak in the public freely, to worship freely, to speak out our minds without fear of molestation. These freedoms and many more will continue to be ours if we vote for union with Nigeria. But if you vote for Cameroon Republic, you will invite a new system under which everyone lives in fear of the police and the army, the gendarmes. You will not be free to move about. You cannot lecture freely or discuss your political views in public. You must carry your tax receipt round your neck like a dog, and you can be arrested and flogged by police and even imprisoned without a fair trial. My brothers and sisters, excuse me. This is like a dream, but it has come to pass. What he prophesied is what we are living today. There are people who are in prison for years. They have never been asked what brought them there. They have never passed through the courts. But in the federal system of La République of Ambazonia and in West Cameroon at that time, it never happened. People understood what was freedom. But today, we cannot remember what is freedom. What a sad thing. So when I remember, it is very painful. I must always remind you to remember the goodness of the Lord, especially in your generation. Many people in the days of Ndele got it very painful because they saw the freedom slipping out of their hands, orchestrated by this young man who was had the blood of La Republique. The CPNC, that's the party that he had, believes that all decent people in the southern Cameroons who have a taste of freedom will be sensible enough to vote for union with Nigeria. Freedom is too sweet to be thrown away to dogs. And actually, the people decided, I don't know whether Fonja used juju or it was just normal, to carry our people who were used to freedom. Of course, we heard in oral history how our people were very afraid of a certain tribe in Nigeria, the eastern people in Nigeria, who were terrorizing our people. And that made them to make a wrong choice and has punished generations up till today. All these predictions are being seen. Prediction number 6. If we vote for union with Nigeria, we shall continue to share the same judicial and legal system. But if you vote for Cameroon Republic, confusion will immediately set in because British and French laws are not the same. What a visionary Dr. E.M.N. Ndele Lifafa was. And he warned us. If we remain with Nigeria, we shall have the right to appeal to the Federal Supreme Court in Lagos and from there to the Privy Council in London, which hears appeals from all Commonwealth councils in London, which hears appeals from all Commonwealth countries too. This system ensures that every case is given a fair trial. But how many people are lavishing and crying? He talked of judicial system. Is it not the judicial system that they revolted that brought us to this point? Did our people, the Balas and the other people who came out to stand, had they read this note? I don't think so. But there was an intuition that was inside these people that your forefathers fought and they did not succeed. But in this year, 21st century, and this generation, you can fight and you can succeed. And we started in 2016. Today is 2022. 6 years since this battle started. Where are we? Where are the people that stood and said we must not go back to slavery? We must not allow the devil, the demons of La République du Cameroun from France to make us slaves again. But where are we today? This man said, you will not have fair trial. He goes on to say that anyone accused of an offense in Cameroon Republic is malhandled and flogged and is generally treated as a guilty criminal. Even the most junior policeman there seems to have the power of life and death in his hands over the people. This is a bad system and must be rejected by the voters. But he gave a deaf ear. Today, we are suffering. We are paying the price. Thousands of people have died. At this time when he was talking, there was a fight with UPC, who were struggling to have their real independence. And the Maquisards, they called the Bamileki people the Maquisards. They were slaughtering them like a Christmas chicken. And he said, we cannot go join a nation that has blood flowing in its land, perpetuated by their own so-called brothers. We should not join them. But what happened? History is repeating itself. How many people are dragging us back to La Republic of Cameroon through their actions? And somebody will call me and tell me, Pastor, you are not doing the right thing. You're supposed to encourage. And you're supposed to make the people to come together. Two people cannot come together except they agree. That is written in my Bible. But the kind of coming together that you want, which is the hypocritical, deceitful coming together of Ambazonians with some of them who have joined La Republic, will not work. My dear friend, it will not work. If you say we are a house that is divided, you are making a big mistake. We are not divided. Those who are going to Boya are different, and those who are going to Yaoundé are different. They are pretending to talk the same language. But if you listen to the language very well, it's not the same language. And my Bible says, when these two people cannot agree together, they cannot work together. They are not together. They are not in the same house. The interim government is not divided. Because those who have left and have gone their way, they have actually demonstrated that they are for La Republic of Cameroon. In their lies telling, in everything that they do, you see that it's fictitious. Why did they leave the interim government? 3/4 of them, as I've told you before, have stolen the money that was given to the counties, to the local government, as local government chairmen, for fear of repercussion and trying to blackmail. They quickly run out and they are pointing fingers after they have run out with the money. They now know that nobody can pursue them because, they have divided the house as they think. But the house is not divided. The truth must remain to be truth, and a lie must continue to be a lie. So if anybody is saying that we are divided and that we should come together, how do you think that a goat and a lion, they will be sleeping together? What do you think was going to become of the goat? Because the victim will be the goat and not the lion. My dear friends, Ambazonia is marching ahead. This is Dr. Endele, who shouted and pleaded, and people followed their ways. Foncha left and went to Fumban. Endele surrendered and went after him. But what is the repercussion today? Dr. Sako will not surrender to Ayaba. He will not surrender to Kondenge prison, whatever they call themselves. He will not surrender to the coup plotters that recently happened. He will not surrender. No. The best of Jesus' friends disgraced him, but he disgraced himself. And those people who are trying to point a finger to an innocent replica of Dr. E.M.N. Indele, we have read the books, and so we are not going to bow. Yes, that is our stand. We are not going to bow. We had a very fruitful meeting yesterday, planning how to go ahead to raise money, to support the fight, and make sure that we bring La Republic to their knees. The economic sabotage is going to continue, and then targets of their operation will be brought down. They must leave our land. God being on our side, they will leave our land. Oh yes. It means that I will not eat and support the people who are standing there. I will do it. Point number 7. Nigeria is populous and rich, and a rich country, made so by the joint efforts of Nigerians and Cameroonians working together for nearly half a century. If our people vote for union with Nigeria, we shall continue to share in the prosperity and strength of the Federation of Nigeria. But a vote for Cameroon Republic will be the signal for a new economic troubles in the southern Cameroons. 1958. I didn't want to just study it and then bring it and just, no, I want to read it word for word so that you can hear. All attempts by Mr. Ahijo to borrow money from World Bank have met with failure. Can you imagine? At this time, at this early stage, has met with failure. Mr. Ahijo sent 2 economic missions to the World Bank, but he was refused the money he wanted. Nigeria, on the other hand, has received substantial loans from the World Bank because Nigeria is respected abroad and she is credit worthy. At this time, La Republic was not credit worthy. You can see why they plunder our economy. Marketing Board, Cameroon Bank, the CDC, UNVDA, WADA, and so many other institutions that they brought to zero, destroyed our power camp, took away our PWD that was repairing roads every now and then. But today, what are we seeing? We are living in slums. We are living worse than people who had no development or civilization at that time. When I remember, I can see myself passing through the forest in Manfe, going to Amba, with untarred roads, but very smooth, with gravel all over the place. You're running the vehicle as if you are running on tar. And the best of that road was because it was not eating the tire of the car like the Conta does. But the PWD was repairing the roads every year. You will not find potholes on the road. Very smooth road. I remember the first time my sister took me to Chico to see the airport, to see the seaport. It was fantastic. I think this was either 69 or 68. I was still very young at that time, but I saw those beautiful places. La Republic has taken over, but they had not yet plundered us. Point number 8. Why we should not have joined. Now it's in the past tense, but he was talking at that time the present tense, that we should not. If you vote for union with Nigeria, the Southern Cameroons will enjoy true independence because Nigeria is truly independent. If you vote for Cameroon Republic, you will forever fail to secure independence for the Southern Cameroons because Cameroon Republic is still a colony of France. French troops are still stationed in Douala and Yaoundé. Mr. Ahijo cannot drive them out even if he wanted to. These French troops are there for 2 reasons. 1, to prevent Mr. Ahijo's government from being overthrown, and to protect the interests of the many thousands of French men who have settled in La République du Cameroon. Can you imagine that? The CPNC maintains that it is no use for Southern Cameroons to move from the British colony system to the French colony system. We must move into true independence with Nigeria. Can you hear that? Here we are today, mourning over spilled milk. But it's not spilled milk. We are going back to Ambazonia. Ambazonia is free. Some of these things were hidden, but today we can see that they are real and we must go back to our roots. We have repented. We have cried unto God. And we've told God our forefathers were deceived because they were gentlemen. Dr. Ndele did not fight. He was as gentle as we see Dr. Sako today. Dr. Sako has been so gentle to the point that a lot of mixed multitude from La République du Cameroon who have taken up residence in Ambazonia and who call the name of Ambazonia took him for a ride, and they thought that he was a weakling, that he could not do anything. But just like Ndele, they struggled, gave bribes and took bribes. Ndele did not know much about bribery, but Mr. Foncha, who came from that side, knew very much about it. Point number 9, the KNDP, which was Dr. Foncha's party, which is spearheading the movement of unification with the Cameroon Republic, is not even sincere to its own conscience. Can you see that? At this point, it was pointed out. So when social media makes people to see the great difference and think that Foncha and Ndele were pulling together, they just make it wrong. The opposition must show that it's opposition. But today, opposition is coming to infiltrate, because that is the method of La République du Cameroon. UPC did not want to infiltrate and did not want to stay aloof. They came outrightly and opposed the Amadou Ahidjo regime, and they were massacred in cold blood. Just like the Ambazonia has risen today to recognize where they came from, and they have been massacred in cold blood. Young children, old women and men burnt in their houses, young men devastated, old and young women raped by the terrorist invaders. I call them militias of La République du Cameroon. The same thing that happened. History is turning around in the circles. And we must end this. And with God, Ambazonia will end this in Ambazonia. God will help us, because we are aiming to be the light of the world. And being the light of the world, we cannot be hidden. That's why we are coming out. Remember when I told you in church and politics how that a lot of righteous people were intimidated and they ran out of taking up authority and leadership to bring the people to the light of God and to show an example by their lives. And today, they are trying to make the same scenario, but we have said no. But President Sako has proven that the righteous, that God says in the Bible, when they are in authority, the people rejoice. That is exactly what is happening now in Ambazonia. And any thief and liar and unscrupulous people cannot stay under this kind of government. A government that will call for audit for itself. Have you heard that and seen that anywhere? They want to hide it. The coup plotters came in with all kinds of allegations, until today, some of them who were sincere, following them thinking that they were talking the real thing about this president, when they suddenly discover that they were not talking the truth, they are left in the ocean. But we have extended an olive leaf for them to come back. Yes, come back to the house. Let's reason together. We know that you thought that was the truth, but you have realized that it's a lie. So why don't you come back? I am believing God, and I trust that Dr. Sako will not drive you when you come back. But you must apologize. And if you are ashamed to apologize, you can apologize in secret. And we will announce it in the open, so that we can continue your life. You made a mistake? Yes, of course you did. You are not the first. Even Samuel, the prophet of God, when God sent him to go and anoint a servant in the house of Jesse, he saw all the children in the house and he was tempted Oh, this is the anointed of the Lord. And God said, no. Oh, this is another one. He said, no. Until David came from the forest where he was taking care of the sheep. And that's when he also attempted. And God said yes. But before then, as a prophet, he had made mistakes. So if a prophet can make mistake, then so everybody is liable to mistake. We agree. You who ran out and follow coup plotters, and today you are realizing that you were deceived because their language has changed. It's not the same. You can come back to the house. Let's build together. Go back to your local government. Go back to your county. Contribute there. Dr. Endele said it. And he said Foncha, who was trying to take us to La Republic, even his conscience were telling him that he was not sincere. You heard about his letter of resignation? He died miserably. Just like Judas Iscariot, who came back and said, I've betrayed the innocent one, and threw the money on the ground and went and hanged himself. Foncha wrote a letter of resignation to Mr. Ahijo. No, it was to Paul Biya. Ahijo had been taken out. He wrote it to Paul Biya before he finally died. I'm told that he made an attempt 40 times to see Paul Biya, and he was never permitted to. But this is somebody who was a president in his own country before it was annexed. And unfortunately, it was a foreigner that came into Ambazonia and was trying to lead Ambazonians, just like we have them today in Boya and in Bamenda. Foreigners that they call them governors, invaders, thieves, people that we don't know, armed robbers, sitting on the throne to direct a people that are sincere and honest. Let's read on. This is shown by the behavior of Mr. Foncha and some leaders of the KNDP who, it has been noticed, and shamelessly receiving Mr. Ahijo's financial assistance, while at the same time they are bargaining with the UPC and other opposition men from Douala and Konsamba to overthrow Mr. Ahijo's government so that they can take over. Foncha was taking money from UPC that was fighting against Mr. Ahijo and was taking money from Ahijo. Is that not what Ayabacho is doing? Taking money from Ambazonians and taking money from La Republic of Cameroon. This one is very clear. Let's wait and see, because the money that we suspect that was taken away from ABC could sustain another social media for some months. But let's wait and see the days ahead, whether the money will still continue. If it doesn't continue, and he is not receiving anything from La Republic of Cameroon, then that thing will close down. Just hold on. A lie has an end, but the truth, though moving very slowly, is very sure and is going to enter its destination. And that's why we encourage every Ambazonian to stand shoulder to shoulder with the interim government of the Federal Republic of Amazonia, as Dr. Samuel Sako, the president, and Mr. Mungwa, the Secretary of State for Communication, come out to tell us what is going on. We'll enjoy. But if you jump out, like some people have jumped out from the HSS, and today they are regretting. Well, we are just warning you like Dr. Endele warned the people of his day. Now, the result of such double-faced policy will be to drag the Southern Cameroons into a wild pool of intrigues between Mr. Ahijo's government coalition and the opposition parties there. And it is happening. Chai, this man was sent by God. He was sent by God. I want to tell you, he was sent by God. And because he was sent by God, we are experiencing it today. Just like the Kusako is singing. Ambazonia is free. We are going in there. And people are asking stupid questions. How are we sure? And people are talking of being popular. Is it popularity that brings the... It's not popularity. Because a popular person will find all kinds of people behind him, but will not get followers. You will have spectators and not even people who can contribute a dime. You know, followers are people who listen to you and contribute. And we have seen that the interim government has people, quality people, not propagandists, not liars, but people that are contributing intellectually, financially, morally, and otherwise, giving counsel. And we are pushing ahead. Please come and join us. God has spoken good concerning us, and we will do you good when you get into our LGA. God has checked already the LGAs, and those who stole money and ran, the money will begin to poach them. They will have poach belly. This young man called Foncha deceived us because we saw a small fire by some few Nigerians who are wicked and money-minded. Then we took Tokyo and ran into hellfire, which is the Republic of Cameroon. And today, the only water that can quench that fire is the separation. And it is the Swiss talks or any mediation that we will sit on one side as Ambazonians and the Republic will sit on another side and we shall discuss. But in the battlefield, we have beaten them hands down. Oh yes, hands down. And we are continuing. The final reason, the 10th reason why we should not have joined La Republique du Cameroon, Dr. Indele writes, the CPNC has compiled with the United Nations plebiscite, complied with the United Nations plebiscite resolution by presenting to the people concrete constitutional proposals under which union with Nigeria will be based. This constitution was prepared in 1953, 1957, 1958, and all shades of political opinion in both Nigeria and Southern Cameroon took part in the discussions. This is the transparency we are talking about. Not the fictitious thing that La Republic will go and do there and give it to Ndele. To Foncha. And Foncha will agree to sell us. I don't know how much he sold us. The KNDP, on the other hand, has until the moment of printing this pamphlet failed to comply with the United Nations resolution and has therefore left the people completely uninformed of the exact constitutional arrangement for union with the Cameroon Republic. Is that not true? That is true. We did not know what terms were going in. La Republic will go and jungle anything and come and show, and Foncha will take it and say, okay, let's go with it. The effect of the KNDP failure will be that the United Nations will inevitably be constrained to regard all votes cast for the Cameroon Republic at the plebiscite. You call them null and void. The only votes which will be counted as valid are those cast for the CPNC ideology of union with Nigeria, because the CPNC has fulfilled the terms of the United Nations resolution. You can hear from here. When we are fighting with Resolution 1608, resolution whatever, article this, it is very clear here that the Southern Cameroons did not comply. That is why we have no union, no article of union with La Republic of Cameroon in the UN, because Foncha did not comply. And Dr. Ndele has said it here very clearly. My dear friends, a word to a wise in this generation is enough. Awake, rise up, and get ready. Finally, voters are therefore warned not to waste their vote for the Cameroon Republic. Who amongst you would like to live in a country where your life and property are constantly in danger? Who amongst you, peaceful citizens of Southern Cameroons, would like to live in a country where you may be shot at as you move along the street, or your wife killed as she toils on the farms? Has this happened? Oh yes, a number of people have been killed in the farms. I remember in Mancon, where the police got to a farm and massively killed people in the farm. This man has predicted it in the 50s. It was about 60 years plus that this prophecy is being lived and experienced by us. Shall we continue to leave our generations that are coming behind us to suffer? No more. Who amongst you would like to live in French Cameroons, a country red with blood and littered with mass graves? Who would like to do that? And that's what is happening to us. So this document, I can send it to you. It is an 8-page document with a map of Ambazonia, and it is being circulated by Professor Martin Ayim, the chairperson of the Presidential Advisory Council. I got this document from him and felt that I should share it to a greater number of Ambazonians who listen to ABC TV. So this document is available and you can have it for your archives. Next week, as I come on the podium for our history, I shall be bringing in a number of people. Dr. Tata shall come in with us. Dr. Lobati shall come in with us. Mr. Jutanga shall come in with us. And a number of other people who have a touch with our history. And possibly that this time around, we shall bring in a lady to do that which many of us have not heard. Because Ambazonian women are very powerful. Right now, as I'm getting off in the ABC here, the next person that is sitting in is the Horizon. Please don't go away. This is now exactly 1 minute to the hour of 7 o'clock, and I am giving way to the Horizon, which is taking over in a few seconds. God bless you and see you next week. Remember, at 10 p.m., we have Ethics Commission. Okay, when I remember. God bless you.